Hello friends, it's Sarah from Sweet Scents from the Dollhouse. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, welcome back. Today I'm doing another Vlogmas entry. I was asked to do a holiday tag. I'm not very trendy with the YouTube tags, or I don't know too many of them, or even how it's really done, but I just watched another channel and I'm just gonna kind of wing it. I am feeling like 75% better. Actually, I don't know if I'm 75% better or I have just had a bit of a family emergency and had to go into supermom mode. Ella Bella, my 20-month-old, came down with the stomach flu yesterday. That was fun. So I tried to film this video earlier because I'm also trying to wrap last-minute stocking stuffers. So Ella and Grace were napping. Tatum was at hockey practice. And as I was filming this, I said, and perhaps I jinxed it, but I'm trying to get up, trying to get better, trying to get ahead of this flu with the laundry and disinfecting because I don't want it to take over the dollhouse. And my video was interrupted by the very distinct sound of vomit hitting the hardwood floor. Yeah, that's right. Grace now has the stomach flu. It rains, it pours, man. So I'm trying to get ahead of this because we are expecting our company first thing tomorrow morning. Literally, our Christmas plans are hanging in the balance because I don't really, part of that company is my 84-year-old grandmother who cannot get the stomach flu. So really don't know what is going to happen in the next 24 hours. So with that being said, let's get on to this Christmas tag. So the first question is, what is your favorite holiday song? I know I've said it on my channel before. I'm a bit of a Scrooge. And Christmas and country music are about the only genres of music I don't like. Country Christmas music is my idea of torture. You play that when you want to get top secrets out of me, and I will spill the beans. I swear, I can't stand that stuff. However, I'm a huge fan of big band, the old crooners, you know. I love Michael Bublé, who's kind of a new age one, so I don't mind his Christmas album. Anything with a band to it, or that old school jazzy sound. I play Billie Holiday year round, but at Christmas time I do play a lot of Billie Holiday. Right now I'm loving, there's a YouTube channel and I will put a link to it somewhere up here. It's called Postmodern Jukebox. So it's modern day music but done in that old school big band era style. Oh, sound, it's amazing. So that is the soundtrack to our holiday. Any of that old school amazing jazzy who's on there right now? Haley Reinhart does a rendition of the song Creep by Radiohead. It's amazing. So I will put a link to that. That's what we're listening to throughout the holidays. My oldest daughter is a big fan of Christmas music, and we have a local radio station up here that plays Christmas music from December 1st right till December 31st. And whenever we're in the car together, or if she's just in my car on her own, next time I go to turn the car on, there's Christmas music blasting top note. Drives me nuts. Anywho, the next one is favorite holiday food. I can't bake to save my life, but I love Christmas because the bakers of the world go guns blazing. It is their time to shine, and I definitely appreciate it. I'm not really big on sweets or junk food the rest of the year, but at Christmas time, I make up for it. My all-time favorite baked goodie is my Grand's shortbreads. They're to die for. I have tried so many different variations of shortbread, so many from different companies, different bakeries, you name it, and I have never found a shortbread cookie like my Grand's. They are to die for. Which is part of our Christmas plans. Tomorrow, she's bringing out the dough, and her and Gracie were supposed to be making a ginormous batch of her famous shortbread cookies and decorating them. So again, I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. Next question is real or artificial tree? So I always had artificial trees growing up because my dad has got allergies to them. So I've never had a real tree before. My daughter's dad and his new wife have artificial Christmas, or a real Christmas tree, and I love it. It looks beautiful, but anytime I'm over there, if I accidentally so much as brush up against the tree when like they're having their open house and it's packed, like 10,000 needles fall off the bloody thing, and I couldn't imagine cleaning that up. I think it looks beautiful. It smells beautiful, but I'm just way too finicky. That would drive me mental. I have this thing for bits on the floor. My kids laugh at me, but if there's, I call them bits. I don't know. You know what they are? You just sweep your house and it doesn't matter. Like half an hour later, there's little things that will stick to your feet. Bits drive me nuts. It's like my biggest pet peeve is bits on my feet. Pine needles on my feet. Ooh! Would be enough to set me off. So I'm an artificial kind of gal. I have Scentsy bars that smell like Christmas trees. You know, Bob's your uncle. I'm set. Next one is white or colored lights. I prefer white lights. The kids love colored lights. So we compromised this year. Our tree is white and blue lights, and the outside of the house is every Christmas color you can imagine on the outside of the dollhouse. So the kids are super pumped about that. Next one is, have you ever regifted? Yes, and I do it every year. Because my biological parents are still married. They have been around or together since like dinosaurs ruled the earth. Love them to pieces. They met when my dad was 16 and my mom was 18. So, however, the children's dad's side of the family is very blended, divorced and remarried. And then Shane and I broke up, and he remarried his wife, who also has parents who are divorced and remarried. So collectively, Tatum and Grace have 12 grandparents, 6 sets of grandmas and grandpas or nanas and papas. So not so much anymore now that they're older and they seem to rake in cash and gift cards. But when they were younger, can you imagine having 12 grandparents? The amount of toys and crafts and books. And I mean, this is all beautiful, beautiful stuff. Like, they spared no expense spoiling those kids rotten. However, kids can only play with so much. So whatever they didn't play with, we wouldn't even take it out of a package. We'd just stick it at the top of their closet. And I thought, you know, when the novelty of these gifts wears off, then I'll get these down off the shelf in a couple months from now. But their birthdays are in the spring. So then come April and May, it's their birthday, and then it's gifts extravaganza bonanza again. And I would have hordes of toys and all this beautiful stuff that never came out of the original packaging. So what I started to do is teaching the kids, you know, that they are blessed and that they have so much when there's kids out there who don't have what they have. And I would give them each wrapping paper and tape, and we would empty out their closet every December 1st of whatever gifts, whether it's Christmas or birthday gifts that they didn't open, and they would wrap it themselves. And even when they're little and their wrapping skills were not the best, but they would wrap it themselves, take down laundry baskets to our local church full of Christmas gifts that they never opened, and we would put them under the angel tree at our church. So that is something we've always done, is re-gifted brand new stuff to people who are less fortunate. And I will continue to do that, you know, because I'm sure Ella will eventually start getting so much stuff that she doesn't know what to do with it either. Favorite thing about winter or snow? Canadian winters aren't what they used to be, and it's sad. I totally blame it on global warming. I remember as a kid, my dad used to have to keep a snow shovel inside the house because at night the snow would drift up against our front door and have like 3.5, 4 feet worth of snow. So my dad couldn't open the screen door to get out. to go to work. Like, he would literally shovel us out to work and school every morning. It was that crazy. And with that much snow, and dry snow at that, we had the best skiing, the best ice skating, tobogganing. There was never, ever, ever a lack of things to do during a Canadian winter. Now it's cold and wet and gross because the temperature fluctuates so much. We get a teeny tiny bit of snow, but by the afternoon it heats up and it melts, and then it's just like a slushy, yucky, nasty, wet mess. So I don't really like anything about winter or snow anymore because it's just not cold enough. Worst Christmas present would have to be from my monster-in-law. Absolute worst Christmas presents. She bought everybody the best Christmas presents. And my ex's parents were very well off. So, like, money was never an object to her. It was just, for some reason, I think she intentionally didn't like me, so she bought me shit that I hated. One year she bought me one of those wooden country bumpkin candle or calendar holders. Do you know what I'm talking about? And they only fit a certain size calendar, which happened to be the tackiest calendars on the face of the planet. They're like these little cherubs or like little cartoon drawings of like cows in a field or kids throwing snowballs or whatever. Just not my style. I'm an artist. I paint. I collect original works of art. Like, I don't know where she thought that I would like this thing, but she bought it for me, and then she's like, and I can get you a new calendar every year for it. I'm like, oh, great. I don't hang calendars on my wall. It's not art to me. I have a day book, or I have an office, you know what I mean? I keep my calendar on my desk, or I don't need a calendar on my wall. So she got me that. I opened that, and, you know, I'm smiling. I'm grateful for any gift that anyone gives me, but I just thought, you know, I've been with your son for 7 years. You'd think you'd know my taste by now. And then there's this beautiful little gift box, and sometimes she would buy me, like, I'm not into tchotchkes either, like dust collectors, but she would buy me beautiful, like, Royal Daltons or things from, like, the Bradley Exchange or whatever. So that's what I thought it was. So I gently stuck my hand in this weird box, and I felt something stringy and skimpy and lacy. And we're in our room, so my husband, my monster-in-laws, my children, Tatum and Grace, were really small at the time. It was also like the year after I broke my spine. So anyways, his grandparents were there. His aunts and uncles we only ever saw like once every 5 years. Everyone's sitting there waiting for me to open this gift, and I knew what it was right away, so I'm sure the look on my face was priceless. It wasn't even sexy, classy lingerie. It was like skanky stuff. And I mean, there's a time and a place. Like, I'm all down for that too. But from your mother-in-law and opening it in front of his family, like, I was just like, I don't think this is appropriate to open in front of the kids. Maybe I'll open this in private. And everyone's like, well, what is it? What is it? And she's laughing, and she's like, well, I want more grandkids, so I bought my son a little something. That is so creepy. So many levels. Just weird. And it got weirder. About 6 months later, she watched the girls when my husband and I went to Toronto for a stag and doe. We came back. She found the the calendar holder with the tacky calendar, which is now 6 months past, downstairs in the basement where I hid it. She hung it up, took a hammer and nails in my house and put a hole in my wall and hung up the calendar that I didn't want. And then a couple weeks later, when it was just her and I, she mentioned, oh, and I take it you're not working on that grandbaby because while I was here, I found that your lingerie still has the tags on it, which I kept in my underwear drawer. That was the last time she watched our kids while we went out of town, because I'm like, were you watching my kids? Were you snooping through my shit? Weird. Just so weird. Anyhow, that was definitely the worst Christmas present. My favorite holiday memory. The apple didn't fall too far from the tree. My ex-husband was a bit of a tyrant. Um, when I left with nothing but my children and the clothes on our back. We went from living a very comfortable life where we had, 2 working parents to myself on disability with a spinal injury, going through all sorts of different treatments and basically living hell on earth. So I left with nothing, and I left in an urgent situation. So that year when I filed my taxes, and I mean, he froze my bank accounts, my credit cards. We were homeless. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible year. And just when I thought that he couldn't make life any more difficult for me, when I filed my taxes as single and said I've been living the last X amount of months single on my own with these kids, he lied and said that he was still the primary, whatever. Like, he still claimed the kids and I as dependents, right? Because I was on disability and the kids. So he still claimed that we were together. So because he did that, I wound up owing the government money. I wasn't eligible for any tax credits. I wasn't eligible for childcare subsidy, like nothing, absolutely nothing. And I was on disability trying to return to work because I couldn't keep up with the lifestyle that we had. I couldn't buy a house of my own on disability. I couldn't give the kids the life that they needed unless I was returning to work. And I probably shouldn't have, and I was pushing myself. Anyhow, it was really bad. It was a really hard year starting from nothing. And I sold all of my prized possessions with the exception of my grandmother's jewelry. I sold all of my jewelry. I sold like original arts of work that I can't even think about without getting teary. Just to pay our bills, to pay rent, to make sure that there was food on the table. And so I was fighting with the provincial government, trying to prove that I had been a single mom for all these months and that I shouldn't have to pay them back all this. I think they needed like $6,000. And, then I said, I need my tax credits. I need help with paying for daycare. Like, I can't do this on my own. I was living well below the poverty line, even working. I know, like, I was making less than had I been on like benefits, like welfare or something like that. It was bad. It was really bad. And of course I didn't ever let on to the kids how bad it was. They had no idea. They were young, right? I was also a very proud person, and I didn't want to go to my family and admit how bad it was or tell them, they were already upset over the divorce, and they were upset about the tyrant-like things that they knew my husband had did. They had no idea that he had lied to the government and said that we were still his dependents. So I didn't want to go to them for help. And that Christmas I was struggling because, again, I had sold all of my possessions to just get by. I had no idea how we were going to get groceries for the rest of the month. I didn't have one gift to give them. And they were young, like 9 and 5. And I was literally sick to my stomach with worry for 2 weeks. I thought, I can't not give them anything because then they'll think, this divorce and the worst year ever, they'll think that they had done something bad and that Santa, was punishing them for something. I didn't want them to think that. So I thought, well, how can I not give them any gifts? Should I tell them about Santa and that Santa's not real? And should I tell them the truth and that we're broke? I was literally sick to my stomach with guilt and worry. So I bit the bullet and I called the Salvation Army and told them my situation. I told them that I was living well below the poverty line. Also, I didn't qualify for things like social assistance because I still technically owned a house and all of our assets were held up in the divorce. So technically on paper, I had $500,000. So you don't qualify for anything if you have assets, right? Even though everything was held up in the divorce, it didn't matter. I didn't qualify for anything. So I told the Salvation Army this, and they said to me, Sarah, we will prepare gift baskets for your children, and here's the address of the local food bank, and you can go there and get your girls Christmas dinner. And being a very spoiled and well-off person my entire life, I had no idea. I had no idea of the hardships people face until I was there myself. And it was the worst feeling in the world. And then he also took my truck, so I didn't even have a car to go pick up these things. So that morning, that was the very last day of school. I couldn't afford to do what I had normally done every year and get little gifts for the teachers and little snacks or goodies for their friends. I literally gave them each a box of small candy canes. And to little kids, that was enough. They were okay with that. I sent them off to school, and then that was my plan for the day. I was going to get on the city bus and go pick up these baskets, and then go to the local food bank and get our Christmas dinner. And I remember I couldn't leave the house because I kept feeling so sick to my stomach and having to run to the bathroom. And I finally brushed my teeth and knocked off my pride and thought, I'm doing this because something is better than nothing. And I walked out my door and noticed that there was a bunch of mail hanging out of my mailbox. The mailman had just been there. And I thought, oh my God, that queasy feeling came up again because now I'm like, oh my God, more bills. And this is, keep in mind, like literally 5 days before Christmas. And the very first thing hanging on my mailbox was a check from the provincial government for $9,000, giving me back the money that I had paid in taxes, saying that they had listened to him, that they had made an error, and here was all the money that the provincial government owed me back from daycare, from child tax credit, from the overpayment in my own personal taxes, $9,000 in my mailbox. And I literally, I never understood what people meant by weak in the knees. I literally slid down my front door and sat there with this check in my hand and bawled for like a half an hour. And I know I've said on my channel before that I'm not a religious person, but I believe in the power of the universe. And as crazy as that memory is, and I'm sorry it took so long to share that, but it was my absolute favorite Christmas memory because it really put things in perspective for me. Big time. Oh my God. Ah! Anyways, dress up or jammies for Christmas. I am definitely a jammies girl. I like dressing up if you have like a company Christmas party to go to, you know, one, maybe two of those a season is about all I can handle. On actual Christmas, I'm a jammy girl. I would literally, if I had it my way, live in my jammies from Christmas Eve right till New Year's Day because that's all I want to do. I want to eat delicious food, be comfortable, be surrounded by my loved ones, and have a movie marathon. That is like my dream Christmas. Go nowhere. Send Christmas cards. No, I do not send Christmas cards. I guess the main reason for that is because I move around. Well, not anymore. But from 2008 until just this year, I moved around a lot, whether it was for work, whether or not it was for financial gain. I rented different houses to be able to afford to get back on my feet and get another house for the children and I. So I moved a lot to save money because I had to rent for quite a while. But then I was also moving for work. So yeah, it's just when you move once a year, people stop sending you Christmas cards. Plus, I would rather call somebody for Christmas. My Auntie Lillian, who's the kids' great Auntie Lillian, still sends Christmas cards every year. She's old school like that, and she still sends cash in the mail. I don't know. Again, the universe is always taking care of us. It always comes. And then instead of sending Auntie Lillian a card, I call her because I love her. She lives on the West Coast too. Favorite Christmas movie? When I was a kid, it was The Nutcracker because I danced when I was a child. My kids' favorite Christmas movie is Elf. My favorite Christmas movie now is Bad Santa. That movie is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, there's a second one now too. You have to watch it. It's definitely not a kid's Christmas movie. Do not watch that with your kids. I watched it with Tatum this year for the first time. She's almost 18, so you know, that's a little bit different. But I started my own Christmas tradition after my divorce that I would watch Bad Santa while being Santa. And I've done it for almost 10 years now. That's what I do every Christmas Eve. My favorite Christmas tradition was started by my mom. So it was a school fundraiser when I was a kid. My mom and my Nana both bought the same set of ornaments. I think that was in my Vlogmas home tour. Those little snowmen guys. So they each got a set of those. And then they also bought this book. And when you open the book, one side is all of these different corresponding ornaments with pictures of the story Night Before Christmas. So you read the first page of Night Before Christmas, and then there's an ornament that goes on the tree. And my mom started this tradition with us when we were small, that she would give me the ornament and read the page. And then she'd give Derek the ornament, read the next page, the night before Christmas. So we would hang the Night Before Christmas ornaments on the tree. And then we would put out cookies and beer for Santa, because my dad is the big beer drinker. And then, of course, carrots for the reindeer. And after that, we brush our teeth and off to bed. So I kind of did the same thing with my girls. My Nana, June, she died actually 5 days after Christmas in 1999, a couple months before I had Tatum. So when she passed, I inherited her Christmas ornaments, those little snowman guys, as well as her copy of The Night Before Christmas and the ornaments. So it was always something that my mom did with us and my Nana when we were kids. So I took my Nana's book and have done that with my children ever since. I have also started a new tradition that's just ours, and I give my girls each a Christmas ornament every year since their very first Christmas. That way when they move out, they will have 18 Christmas ornaments to start their tree with. This is Tatum's 18th Christmas ornament, so instead of getting her a Christmas ornament, because I think she's got enough now I am starting a new tradition with her that she will get Christmas decor instead of the ornaments. But yeah, we do the same thing. Set out the cookies, the milk, the goodies for Santa, do the Night Before Christmas ornaments, and then they open their yearly ornament or Christmas decoration. So that is it. I apologize that this one was so long. Please and thank you. If you did a Christmas holiday tag, comment down below. Shoot me a link to your video, or what are your Christmas traditions? What are you looking forward to over the next couple days? I would love to know. I would love to hear all about your Christmas traditions. Comment down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, smash the bell above for future content notification, and I will be bringing you more videos daily. As always, happy holidays.